misty mountains of Japan, there was a quiet monastery where a Zen master named Zenji lived. Known for his wisdom and calm presence, people traveled from distant lands to seek his guidance. One chilly morning, a young man named Akio arrived at the monastery. He walked briskly, his shoulders tense, and his hands gripping a scroll filled with questions. Though he appeared determined, inside, he was crumbling. For months, Akio had struggled with restless thoughts and a deep sense of unease. He couldn't sleep. His mind replayed mistakes from the past and fears of the future. No matter how hard he tried to make sense of it, peace seemed impossible to grasp. After another sleepless night, Akio decided to climb the mountain and seek Zenji's wisdom. He hoped that somehow the master would have the answers he desperately needed. When Akio entered Zenji's chamber, he bowed deeply. "Master Zenji, I have come to you because I cannot find peace. My mind is restless. I am haunted by regrets and fears. I've read many teachings, but none have helped me. Please, show me how to quiet my mind." Zenji studied him for a moment, then smiled gently and gestured for Akio to sit. Without speaking, Zenji began preparing tea. Minutes passed in silence, and Akio's impatience grew. Finally, Zenji poured tea into a small cup in front of Akio, but he kept pouring, even as the tea spilled over the cup, onto the table, and dripped to the floor. "Master, stop!" Akio exclaimed. "The cup is full. It can't hold any more." Zenji set the teapot down and looked at Akio with calm eyes. "Exactly," he said. "And this is why I cannot teach you." Akio frowned. "What do you mean?" "You are like this cup," Zenji explained. "You have come here full of knowledge, opinions, and assumptions. There is no room for anything new. To truly learn, you must first empty your cup." Humbled, Akio bowed deeply. "Master, I see my mistake. Please, teach me how to empty my cup." Zenji gave Akio his first instruction. "Spend your days working alongside the monks and observing your mind. When you act, simply act. When you think, simply notice. Do not cling to your thoughts, and do not try to force them away." At first, Akio struggled with the simplicity of this. His mind often wandered back to his worries, but as the days passed, he began to notice small changes. He found himself more focused while sweeping the courtyard and tending the garden. For brief moments, he felt a sense of calm, like a stillness in the middle of his storm. Just as Akio began to think he was making progress, an unexpected event shook the monastery and tested everything he had learned. One evening, as the monks gathered for their evening meal, a loud cry came from the front gates. The monks rushed outside to find a frantic young woman clutching a crying infant. Her clothes were torn, and her face was streaked with tears. "Please help me," the woman cried. "I've traveled for days to find refuge here. My husband, he blames me for this child and has cast me out. I have nowhere else to go." Akio felt a wave of panic rise in his chest. What will Zenji do? He wondered. We don't have enough food for ourselves, let alone for a mother and her baby. How can we take them in? Before anyone could speak, Zenji stepped forward. He gently took the crying baby from the woman's arms and cradled it. "Come inside," he said to her. "You will stay here tonight." Akio's mind raced with questions. Why isn't he worried? Doesn't he see how difficult this will be? The next morning, after the woman and her baby left, Akio couldn't hold back his frustration. "Master," he said, "how could you be so calm? We don't have enough food for ourselves, and now we have even less. How can you act so freely when things are so uncertain?" Zenji led Akio to the stream that ran beside the monastery. He pointed to a large boulder in the middle of the water. "Do you see that rock?" Zenji asked. "Yes," Akio replied. "The water does not try to move the rock," Zenji said. "It simply flows around it, and yet, over time, the rock becomes smooth." Akio frowned. "What does this have to do with what happened today?" Zenji smiled. "Life will always place rocks in your path, unexpected challenges, difficult decisions. If you fight against them, you will only exhaust yourself. But if you flow around them, like the water, you will always find your way forward." Akio stared at the stream, the words sinking in. He realized that Zenji's calmness wasn't because he didn't care. It was because he trusted the flow of life, even in difficult moments. This story isn't just Akio's. It's for all of us. Life often places unexpected challenges in our path, and we are tempted to fight against them. But true peace comes not from control, but from trust and flow. Here are the lessons Akio learned. Flow like water. When faced with obstacles, don't resist or fight them. Find a way to move around them, just as water flows around a rock. Trust the moment. Even in uncertainty, trust that life will carry you forward. Fighting uncertainty only creates more suffering. Give freely. Like Zenji, give freely of yourself, even when you feel you have little to offer. Generosity has a way of replenishing itself. Be present. Pay attention to the small, beautiful moments in life. The sound of water, the fall of a leaf, or the warmth of the sun. Take a deep breath. Empty your cup and trust the flow of life.